David Menzies for Rebel News here at Queen's Park in Toronto. Well, folks, in about 10 minutes there is a protest that is going to kick off here on the lawns of Queen's Park, the provincial capital. And as you can see behind me, there's already a large police presence brewing. And interestingly enough, it doesn't seem like some of the officers are practicing social distancing. I wonder if their colleagues will have to write them up for one of those $880 tickets. But that is the crux of the matter. The nature of this protest is, well, people are just sick and tired of being cooped up for what they presumably see as no reason. They want to get back to work, get back to school, be able to go out in the outdoors and not have to worry about a ticket for almost $1,000. In any event, I'm going to wander into the park. Some of the protesters are gathering right now and see what it is that they are hoping to achieve today. So, sir, what brings you out to this protest?
I miss my country. I'm a citizen and an individual who lived, I thought, in Canada. This has degenerated into China, unfortunately.
Well, we just want to tell the tyrants that they need to stop what they're doing. And whatever the threshold is for taking away our freedoms and suspending the Constitution, COVID-19 has not met that threshold.
The death rate for COVID has been 0.2% of a regular flu season.
No hospitals are in a war zone condition. It just doesn't make sense. What we hear is not the same as what we see.
And I think it's easy enough to look out your own window and actually see that it's a little bit hyped up by the media.
It's because Rebel News isn't allowed to interview Trudeau because he cherry picks the people, the news outlets that he has bought.
Trudeau admires the authoritarian regime in place in China, and so we can see that as I look around. I don't recognize this country anymore.
You can't go for a walk without being harassed by police. I was harassed by police walking my two kids like a month ago. Really? Literally a block away from my house, and they're 3 and 4, and I was like, I gotta get them out.
It's a joke. It's an infringement on our charter rights to be able to not use green spaces that we're paying for. So, enough's enough. My mental health depends on this, and so does everybody else. It's not just a haircut.
Healthy people should not be sacrificed mercilessly for the sake of a tiny minority who do desperately need help, such as those elderly and the people with lung problems, complications.
The sick need to be quarantined. The vulnerable needs to be protected. But all jobs are essential. Everybody needs to slowly come back to life, or we are going to end up having a massive recession in our economy. It is going to destroy people.
If you're scared, you can go hide and live in a bubble, be bubble boy if you want to, but the rest of us should carry on.
My son's going off to college in September, and I'm not going to be able to pay tuitions off government subsidies, and even people going back after this does end, it's going to be a trickle effect. It's not going to be a mass hiring where everybody gets their jobs back. It's going to be a slow trickle, and that means for me it could be long term, could be 6 months, could be a year. I don't even know if I have a job to go back to.
The devastation that is happening in our country and in our world is going to be devastating for years to come, and our children are going to be paying for this.
People's jobs are essential. People need to survive. They need to put food on their tables, take care of their children, take care of their parents, or they have extended family members in our household, rent, hydro. This stuff costs money. And the money that they're providing only goes so far.
For every 1% the economy goes up for unemployment, 36,000 deaths. The deaths will be worse if we crash this economy and go into a depression than what the virus will ever do.
The original reason for the lockdown was to flatten the curve. It was to prevent an overwhelming of the healthcare system and to protect the vulnerable and the immunocompromised. Mission accomplished.
What you should do is just open up the entire economy all at once and let people be responsible, mature adults like they are, and take care of their own health.
We have room for COVID patients now, but all of the other patients that had cancer surgeries, that had orthopedic surgeries, they are all sitting at home scared that they're not going to get the treatment that they need. And when the hospitals open up and accept other patients, the people that were put on hold, there is going to be a tidal wave of people waiting, and the lineups are going to get longer, and the healthcare system is going to be overwhelmed for years.
Ford doesn't care about the most vulnerable, neither does Trudeau. They knew what was happening in those homes. They knew exactly exactly what was happening. And because of them, those poor seniors died.
My concern was with the seniors' homes. It should have been taken care of right away. There was no mask given to the workers in there, which China took all the masks from what we can gather. There was no temperatures taken on the people that worked there. There was nothing given to the people that worked at Tim Hortons. Now they came out with last night. I seen it on the news that they're giving them masks. Where were the masks like a month ago?
Well, sir, if you had the Prime Minister's ear or the Premier's ear here in Ontario, what advice would you give them? What would you like to see happen?
Reopen the country and aim for the herd immunity that we need to get over any sickness. Because we have not done that yet. We've stayed locked up, and that does not allow the herd immunity to build up.
We need herd immunity, not vaccine immunity. We can't keep printing money. We want to go back to work.
A controlled or yellow light opening up of the economy is just the same as a semi-controlled hypocritical shutdown. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I have to give you that point. But, sir, what do you say to people who say that we agree with your protest, we agree that we want to open up the economy, but to do so right now, it might be, taking one step back in terms of the Wuhan virus protocols?
Yeah, absolutely, and I'd be 100% behind you if it wasn't for the fact the LCBO is still open, Walmart's still open, major corporations are still open. RBC, CIBC, TD Bank, they're all still open, but the small businesses in my town aren't allowed to operate.
We need to have access to green space. We need to have access to small shops and communities opening back up again, because not every community has got large corporate companies in it.
Their stores or the liquor stores was taxed back into the government's pocket. That's why they're open.
Do you believe the narrative from the government and the health authorities that if we rush to open the economy, we might be in a bigger pandemic with a second wave of the virus hitting? Or do you think they're just being way too overcautious?
Well, it's difficult for me to really comment on that because I'm not a healthcare professional. But what I would say is that perhaps as an interim solution, we can do things such as mitigate risk and wear a mask, for example. And we're seeing many other jurisdictions nearby in North America which are reopening. So if this is an international pandemic, if other nearby jurisdictions are remaining open and we're not, we're at a very, very serious economic disadvantage.
We're burning down the house to get rid of the termites.
We obviously can't totally eliminate this virus, but in the meantime, we really just can't grind our economy to the ground.
So as the protest peters out, folks, what have we learned? Well, a few things. One is the overall feeling here is that the cure for this pandemic is worse than the disease itself. Namely, shutting down the economy has caused enormous frustration, and not to mention people having bills piling up, people being stressed out beyond belief. They want to get back to work. They want to get back to school. They want to be doing things as opposed to just waiting around. Secondly, there's absolutely no love in the way in which the Trudeau Liberals have managed this pandemic crisis, nor is there much love for the mainstream media. Many critics here are upset at what a gentle ride the Liberals have been given in terms of the management of the Wuhan virus. And finally, despite the overall presence of law enforcement here today, I didn't witness a single ticket for one of those infamous $880 coronavirus tickets being handed out. Wow, talk about herd immunity indeed. For Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, have you had an unfortunate encounter with bylaw or law enforcement? Have you been unfairly given one of those $880 tickets for violating a COVID-19 safety protocol? Well, if you have a case, we'll take up your case. Please go to fightthefines.com. That's fightthefines.com. And if we see that you indeed have a legitimate grievance, we will crowdfund your legal fees. As well, if you don't have a tale to tell, but you'd like to support our crowdfunding, please go to fightthefines.com, and if you can, make a donation.